Have you ever paused in the quiet moments of your day, gazing at your spouse across the breakfast table or in the soft glow of evening light, and wondered, why this person? In a world teeming with billions of souls, why did our paths converge in this sacred covenant of marriage? Was it the whimsical hand of destiny, weaving invisible threads through time? Or perhaps the deliberate choice of two hearts seeking solace in each other's arms? Could it be the inexorable pull of karma, that ancient law of cause and effect binding us across lifetimes? Or simply a cosmic coincidence, a fleeting intersection in the grand tapestry of existence? These questions stir the depths of our being, especially when marriage unfolds not as a fairy tale but as a profound classroom of the soul, sometimes serene and harmonious, other times fraught with friction, misunderstandings, and the raw edges of human imperfection. Asterisk, why do some unions bloom like eternal gardens, filled with effortless understanding and shared laughter, while others resemble stormy seas, where waves of conflict crash relentlessly against the shores of patience? Why does one partner ignite a flame of pure joy within us, awakening depths of tenderness we never knew existed, while another seems to test the very limits of our endurance, pushing us to confront shadows we'd rather ignore? And piercing through all these enigmas, what is the divine blueprint, the higher purpose, etched into this most intimate bond between two souls? Paramahansa Yogananda, the luminous yogi, and author of Autobiography of a Yogi, the revered master who bridged Eastern wisdom with Western seekers, offered profound illumination on these mysteries. He taught that no encounter in life is accidental. Every relationship is a deliberate orchestration of the universe, governed by spiritual laws far deeper than mere chance. Asterisk. At the heart of Yogananda's teachings lies the magnetic law of karma, the principle of cause and effect that permeates all existence. Every soul you meet is drawn to you by the magnetic law of karma, he explained, emphasizing that your husband or wife is no stranger plucked from the ether by blind fortune. They are echoes from your soul's eternal journey, companions you have crossed paths with in previous incarnations, perhaps as allies, rivals, or unfinished chapters from bygone eras. These souls return not to torment or merely to delight, but to resolve the unfinished symphonies of the past, debts of love unpaid, lessons half learned, harmonies yet to be struck. In his writings, Yogananda elaborated, errors in choosing matrimonial candidates, divorces, and multiple marriages are frantic, misguided efforts arising from the soul's pure desire to find one's real-life companion. Selfishness, lust, physical attraction, external beauty, financial lure in marriage, animal magnetism of the opposite sexes. These are the evil forces that misdirect a person from traveling in the right path that leads to the discovery of a proper soul companion. Thus, the spouse before you today is a karmic mirror, reflecting not just your present choices, but the echoes of lifetimes, inviting you to balance the scales through forgiveness, growth, and mutual upliftment. Asterisk. Consider the stark contrasts that often define marital life. The clash of temperaments, where one partner's meticulous orderliness grates against the other's free-spirited chaos. The divergence in values, where dreams of adventure collide with the anchor of routine. Or the emotional rhythms that seem perpetually out of sync, one craving deep conversation at dawn, the other silence in the twilight. We cry out in frustration, why is my partner so different from me? Why do we clash when we both yearn for peace? Yogananda, with his gentle wisdom born of divine insight, revealed that these very differences are among God's most ingenious pedagogical tools. The one who irritates you most is often the one your soul has chosen to help you grow the most, he affirmed. Your partner serves as a living mirror to your inner landscape, illuminating the unhealed wounds, the unchecked impulses, the latent virtues waiting to be cultivated. In their quirks and challenges, you glimpse your own need for greater patience, deeper compassion, unyielding humility, or unwavering forgiveness. Asterisk, this mirroring is no cruel jest, but a divine invitation to self-discovery. As Yogananda taught in his lessons on spiritual marriage, marriage means unity on the physical, mental, and spiritual planes. If you attract others by spiritual magnetism, then you will meet your soul companion. An ideal human marriage is the communion of two souls, but the soul finds the highest communion in God. Unless human love is spiritualized, it will be a canker in your soul. Through the daily dance of coexistence, the shared meals that turn into debates, the quiet compromises that forge resilience, the moments of raw vulnerability you are sculpted anew. The friction isn't failure. It's the chiseled stroke, carving away the ego's rough edges to reveal the soul's innate divinity. Yogananda often drew from the lives of his disciples to illustrate this. Consider Lahiri Mahasaya, his guru's guru, a householder yogi who balanced profound spiritual realization with family life. Despite temptations and trials, Lahiri Mahasaya's marriage became a testament to transmuting earthly love into divine bliss, showing that when the joy of God, felt in meditation with stillness of breath, remains continuously in the soul, then the physical temptation vanishes forever. Through contrast, the joy in God becomes more tempting than all temptations. Asterisk yet, beneath these trials lies the perennial quest for love's true essence. Isn't marriage, after all, meant to cradle us in happiness, to wrap us in the warmth of unwavering companionship? Society paints it as a haven of romance, comfort, and mutual adoration. Sunlit walks hand in hand, whispered endearments under starlit skies. And indeed, these joys are precious gifts, fleeting glimpses of heaven on earth. But Yogananda gently redirected our gaze upward. Most people enter marriage seeking happiness from another. But true happiness comes when two souls seek God together. The divine purpose of this bond transcends the temporal pleasures of physical intimacy or emotional security. It is a sacred forge for spiritual evolution, where the fires of challenge temper the soul's metal. Through the crucibles of patience tested by forgetfulness, forgiveness extended amid betrayals, sting, and sacrifice offered in the quiet hours of unspoken need, we ascend toward divine understanding. As Yogananda poignantly stated, the spiritual purpose of family life is to expand one's consciousness through cultivation of purifying divine love and friendship that is not conditioned by sex or any selfish motivation. In serving your spouse with selfless devotion, a meal not for praise, but from the heart's quiet wellspring, listening without judgment to their weary days recount, you are, in truth, serving the divine in disguised form. Yogananda illuminated this with crystalline clarity. When you serve your husband or wife with selfless love, you are really serving God in that form. Every act of kindness, every bridge built over the chasm of disagreement, becomes an offering on the altar of the infinite. This perspective transforms the mundane into the mystical. The laundry folded with care becomes a ritual of reverence. The late-night consolation, a prayer of presence. And in this alchemy, resentment yields to gratitude, isolation to interconnection. But what of the triggers that seem to ignite like dry tinder at the slightest spark? Why does a single word from your partner unravel your composure, flooding you with waves of irritation or hurt that feel disproportionate to the moment? If this bond is divinely ordained, why the pain? Yogananda, ever the compassionate guide, would meet such anguish with a knowing smile. God hides behind the faces of those who test you to awaken your strength and expand your heart, he revealed. Your husband may embody the archetype of patience's stern tutor. His delays or indecisions a call to cultivate equanimity within. Your wife, with her unyielding standards or emotional tempests, might be the forge for your forgiveness, urging you to release grudges like autumn leaves in the wind. Together, they are instruments in the divine sculptor's hands, chiseling your soul toward perfection. As he elaborated in Teachings on Harmony, marriage acts as a laboratory to neutralize selfishness, bad temper, and poor behavior through patience, love, and noble effort. View irritating habits in a spouse as opportunities to eliminate one's own hidden flaws for purification. This sacred dynamic hinges on love's true root, not in the ephemeral thrill of attraction, but in the eternal soil of devotion to God. Yogananda warned that human love is incomplete until it becomes divine love when you see God in your beloved, to gaze upon your spouse, and perceive not merely their human frailties, their moods, mistakes, or mundane habits, but the luminous soul beneath. The spark of the infinite animating their form is to elevate love to worship. It means cherishing them, not for the gifts they bestow, the affirmations, the security, the shared dreams, but for their inherent divinity as reflections of the Creator. In this vision, arguments become avenues for atonement, separations, spaces for soul-searching, and reunions rites of renewal. Man and woman should look upon one another as reflections of the divine, Yogananda urged, reminding us that such perception infuses every interaction with holiness. Inevitably, many hearts grapple with imbalance. What if the scales tip unevenly? What if your marriage feels like a solitary pilgrimage, where you tread the spiritual path alone, while your partner lingers in the material realm, unmoved by meditation's call or prayer's whisper? Does this signify a misstep, a karmic error in selection? Yogananda's response is one of unwavering assurance. Even in asymmetry lies profound purpose. Sometimes God sends a soulmate not to romance you, but to awaken you, he taught. You may be the beacon in their life, your serenity a silent sermon, your example an unspoken invitation to higher awareness. Through your steadfast prayers, your gentle guidance without coercion, and your embodiment of divine qualities, you uplift them and, in that sacred service, purify your own heart. As he advised, the spiritual wife should not forsake the unspiritual husband, nor should the spiritual husband forsake the unspiritual wife. They should try to influence and help each other as long as it is possible to do so. This role demands no force, only the magnetism of your inner light. Inspire through your own goodness, meditate daily, perhaps inviting them to join in quiet moments. Maintain a family altar as a focal point of shared devotion, where souls might subtly attune to the cosmic vibration. Yogananda envisioned the pinnacle of matrimony, not as a merger of two egos, but as a divine duet, when two souls come together in divine friendship seeking God. Their love becomes eternal. This is the highest octave of marriage, a companionship unbound by possession or passion's flicker. but propelled by unconditional friendship toward the divine. Here, man and woman balance their innate polarities. Woman is motivated primarily by feeling, and man by reason. Marriage is meant to balance these qualities, he noted. Together, they walk not in circles around each other, chasing fulfillment in the finite, but hand in hand toward the infinite. Their steps synchronized in the rhythm of shared Sedona spiritual practice. Meditate together at dawn and dusk, attuning breath and heart to the universal hum. Practice affirmations of goodwill. Radiate love and goodwill to open the channel for God's love. Divine love magnetizes all good. In this union, sex sublimates into soul communion, companionship evolves into cosmic kinship, and every trial transmutes into triumph. Pause, now, dear seeker, and turn inward with these reflective queries. What is my soul gleaning from this sacred companionship? Which divine virtues patience amid haste, compassion in conflict, humility before pride's life, summoning forth through our shared odyssey? For your husband or wife is far more than a cohabitant in this fleeting physical realm. They are your karmic ally, your unflinching mirror, your appointed guru in human guise, journeying beside you as twin flames inching toward liberation. Embrace this truth and watch as the lens of perception shifts. Resentment, once a thorny vine, blossoms into reverence. Complaints, bitter echoes in the mind, dissolve into cascades of compassion. The plaintive, "Why me?" gives way to a whispered litany of thanks. Thank you, divine beloved, for dispatching this soul to instruct me in love's boundless art. Yogananda's message, distilled from lifetimes of realization, is deceptively simple yet ocean deep. To cherish one's soul with unadulterated purity is to unlock the universal embrace of all souls. Your spouse stands as the threshold, the initiatory portal through which your heart expands into divine love's vastness. Honor this covenant with intentionality. See the eternal behind the everyday, the Godhead in the gaze that meets yours across the years. In doing so, your home transmutes from mere shelter to sanctified temple. Your shared life from routine to radiant prayer. Remember his counsel on choosing wisely. First, establish yourself irrevocably on the divine path. Then, if you marry, you won't make a mistake. And for those already wed, heed the call to spiritualize the bond. Success in marriage is very difficult if partners expect too much from their spouses. That is why I believe that a lasting and fulfilling marriage is in most cases impossible without spirituality, without a mutual effort to seek satisfaction of the souls, yearning for perfect love and the joy of fulfillment, where alone it can be found. God communion, the husband or wife you cherish, sometimes merely endure, is no haphazard assignment from fate's lottery. It is divine choreography, scripted by the architect of souls for your exquisite unfolding. In the words of Yogananda, marriage between man and woman is for the purpose of each partner helping to uplift the other in a commitment of divine friendship, love, and loyalty that will move both souls closer to their true nature in the incarnation they share. Let this realization dawn every sigh, every smile, every storm weathered side by side is a verse in the epic of your soul's ascension. Embrace it fully, and marriage becomes not just a chapter, but the very heartbeat of your journey home to the divine. As we delve deeper into Yogananda's wisdom, consider the practical alchemy he prescribed for infusing harmony into the hearth. He urged couples to treat marriage as a sacred laboratory, where the base metals of ego and desire are refined into gold. To develop pure and unconditional love between husband and wife, parent and child, friend and friend, self and all, is the lesson we have come on earth to learn, he proclaimed. Begin with self-reform, the cornerstone of relational peace. When discord arises, turn the gaze inward, owning your share without finger-pointing. Blame oneself for troubles and exit situations gracefully, he advised, setting an exemplar of calm that disarms even the quickest tempers. In arguments, recognize the mutual folly wise souls discuss, while fools devolve into strife. Cultivate courtesy as a daily devotion. Speak with kindness, even in disagreement, for family happiness rests on understanding and kind words, with calm silence and sincerity.